Hey everybody, and welcome to the third episode of Coffee with Kira. Joining me for coffee today is James, a beekeeper. See you inside. Hey James, thank you so much for joining me for coffee.
Good morning, Kira. How are you doing?
Good, how have you been?
Been great.
Where are you calling from today?
I am in Chico, California.
Fun. I am calling
Yeah.
from my home in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, how's the weather over there?
Good. We've been having some really cold days and then suddenly it's 80 degrees out. So
Can't quite
normal
make up
Texas
its
weather.
mind, huh? Yeah, very
How's
nice.
the weather been there?
Good. We're finally getting some winter weather, which is nice. We needed some rain, and yeah, we got some, so that's nice. It's been cold, but
That's
'tis the
very
season.
nice. Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm having passion tea lemonade to drink this morning. What are you having to drink?
I have a cup of green tea. Oh, there it is, with a nice scoop of honey in it. So
Tasty.
yes,
Is that your honey that you collect?
it is. Yeah. Yep.
So I've heard a little bit about your job as a beekeeper, but can you explain where your job is and where you work?
So I have some of my own bees that I run for my own business, and then I also am part of a larger outfit. Um, the bulk of the work takes place right around Chico area, um, but as part of the larger outfit, I am required to go up to Hood River, Oregon, and work bees up there, as well as up in the Bitterroot Valley of Montana.
Okay. So do you own your own business
I
and
do.
work for someone? Okay.
Yeah. I'm starting small and just kind of learning as I go through the bigger outfit and then kind of transferring that over to my own operation.
Okay. What does a typical day look like for you?
Oh, every day is slightly different. So, we're dealing with a living organism, and so their needs kind of change on a daily basis. But
Mhm.
essentially, what we're trying to do is just make sure the bees have all their needs met. I'm sorry. Whether that is having to supplement feed, or checking to make sure that there's an active, healthy laying queen,
Okay.
or moving bees from out yards, which is where we set upwards of about 60 colonies
Well,
in on somebody's piece of land. But then we also do pollination, and so we have to move them kind of back and forth from these areas to fulfill our contracts for pollination.
okay. So have you always been interested in doing this type of work, or can you explain how you got here from graduation of high school?
Yeah, so my earliest memory of bees was, well, the first one was actually when I got stung on the bottom of my foot, and that left a lasting impression. And it kind of amazed me how such a small little insect would pack such a punch. And then a few years down the road, I was out hiking with my dad, and we actually stumbled upon a wild colony. And
Wow.
yeah, my dad being adventurous and brave, he got a couple blades of grass and got him to start smoking, and he walked up and approached the colony and started waving and wafting smoke around them, and the bees settled down. And I just remember him reaching up and grabbing a chunk of this honeycomb and breaking a piece off and handing it to me and saying, "Here, try this." And I ate raw honey from a wild colony, and yeah, it really sparked my interest. And then
That's so
moving,
cool.
it was pretty awesome. And then moving forward, in college, I studied parks and natural resource management. So I've always been drawn to the outdoors and
Mhm.
natural things. And yeah, actually had a friend here locally who has a small outfit and kept bees. I'm not sure if you remember about, oh, it's probably been about 6 years or 7 years ago, but bees started getting a lot of attention on a large scale. There was concern that the colonies were collapsing and the bees were in bad shape. And so that kind of made a light go off. And I said, well, what's going on here? And so I approached my friend and asked if I could volunteer a day with him in the bee yard, just to see what a day in the life of a beekeeper was like. And
Yeah.
so he invited me out, and yeah, from the moment I first put on my suit and cracked open a bee box, I was pretty much hooked.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned you like the outdoors. What other hobbies do you have, and do you have time for them?
I do. Yeah, fortunately, they kind of coincide with one another.
Yeah.
I do love to travel and the outdoors. So, working with the bees, we're primarily working outside and
Yeah.
in pretty natural areas. And so, yeah, some of my hobbies, I love camping, hiking, fishing, hunting, bird watching, rafting, just yeah, pretty much anything that has to do with being outside. And
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the best season for beekeeping?
Say that one more time.
What's the best season for beekeeping?
Oh, I really enjoyed the springtime.
Mhm.
So in our larger operation, we actually, during the winter months, starting about November till about the middle of January, we actually store them in cold storage facilities. So the temperature is regulated inside of them, and it
Okay.
forces them to kind of go into a mild hibernation mode. And
Oh,
then once we start pulling them out in the middle of January, we go through and inspect them. But yeah, my favorite time is after we pull them out, and once getting into February, once spring starts to show itself a little bit, the bees really just come to life, and there's more flowers that
flowers. Yeah.
start flowering. And yeah, it's awesome to watch them grow.
Mhm.
Over the winter, oftentimes the colony kind of shrinks down. There's certain losses that that do occur, but in the spring it's pretty incredible to see how fast they're able to ramp back up and get back to a full-size colony.
Yeah.
And the weather's usually nice and cool, and yeah, it's probably my favorite time of the season.
Hmm. Are there like standard levels of beekeeping or like a promotion steps or no?
Are there what?
Are there like levels of beekeeping? So is there like a manager or no?
Yeah, so um in the outfit that I work for, there's our boss, and he's been a beekeeper for almost 34 years now. He doesn't spend as much time in the field as the employees. We kind of refer what we see in the field to him, and he makes kind of management decisions on that end.
Hmm.
But there's three other employees besides myself, and there's no real credentials or licensing or anything that you have to have or get
Okay.
certified in order to become a beekeeper. There are options out there where you can become a quote unquote master beekeeper. And like I said, since the bees started getting a lot more attention a few years back, there's actually programs that have started across the nation where people can go and attend classes and get certifications and get hands-on experience, as well as a lot of information through text and such.
Okay. What are some of the unexpected challenges you faced that you weren't thinking you were going to?
Um, Beekeeping is very physically demanding. I'm a tall guy. I'm about 6 feet 5 inches tall, and most of the colonies at the top are maybe at about 2 feet tall. So there's a lot of bending over, and
Yeah.
honey weighs surprisingly a lot. And so yeah, there's a lot of bending over and a lot of heavy lifting. But yeah, it's forced me to work on my posture, and it definitely doesn't require me to have a gym pass. It keeps me in pretty good shape out there.
Well, that's a bonus.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know how much honey you've collected in a day before?
Oh, let's see. So part of the larger outfit that I work for, we go out and we have forklifts, which, yeah, really alleviate some of the heavy lifting part
Yeah.
of things. But we'll fill up two 16-foot flatbed trucks, about as full with honey supers, which is
Whoa.
the name of the box that we put on top of the colonies for them to start accumulating the honey in. And we'll get 12 pallets. There's, yeah, a couple thousand gallons a day is often what we're able to pull, which, yeah, is kind
Wow.
of surprising. I imagine
Yeah,
a swimming pool slowly getting filled up with honey every day that we're out there. So,
it's a lot.
yeah. This last year, I think we got about 160 barrels of honey, and each barrel is 55 gallons.
Oh,
So I can't quite do the math in my head right now, but it's a lot.
yeah. What's the best part of your job?
I think, yeah, the travel and being outside, um, and the bees, they're just fascinating. I'm constantly learning something new about them and different management practices to help you deal with any situation you might encounter along the way.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
I imagine I'll still be working bees. I'm kind of torn at this point between focusing on building up my own operation and
Mhm.
working it locally here around Chico, uh,
Yeah.
or buying into the outfit that I'm working for now and slowly kind of taking that over, transitioning over from my boss to me. He's been training me up a lot, so um, that's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah. Do you know how many like beekeeping companies there are around the US? Just an idea.
Around the
There are a
U.S.,
lot.
I'm really not sure. They're definitely popping up more and more, especially as of the last 5 6 years.
Hmm.
Locally around Chico, there's at least 10 that I can name off, and that's kind of the surrounding area, probably about a 60-mile radius or so.
Okay.
And they're all of varying different sizes. There's some that are people run maybe 300 hives, and then there's other outfits that run upwards of 10,000 hives. So there's a big range in between.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for anyone who is interested in pursuing this field of work?
Um, yeah, I guess it would be just to stay open and be willing to roll with the punches, quote unquote. There's a lot of challenges in it, and like I said, you're dealing with a living organism,
Yeah.
and every year you see a slightly different picture, depending on weather and a number of different factors. But yeah, the first year when I kept my own bees, I had 5 colonies, and I ended up losing 4 out of the 5. And it was kind of discouraging and made me kind of second guess myself. But it also kind of motivated me to really pay more attention and get on the level with the bees to where I can kind of read and take away different signs and be able to interpret them and then make the appropriate actions to try and remedy anything that's going wrong within the colony.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed talking to you. I've never gotten to talk to a beekeeper before, so
Oh,
this
it's
is
been a
really
great
cool.
pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you, of course. Cheers.
Cheers. It's been a pleasure. Oh,
Yes. Thank you.
uh-huh. Well, yes,
Bye.
you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.